Hey there, welcome to day 130 of our beyou 365-day challenge. I just knocked my big Christmas clock, which I don't know why I still have a Christmas clock out. But we're talking about the SOAP framework today with respect to our financial well-being, our financial health, and of course we're talking about the S, which is story in the framework. S in SOAP stands for story or situation, whatever speaks to you. I like stories better than situation. Situation sounds so serious, but we're usually talking about a problem or a challenge, so it is pretty serious. So whatever speaks best to you, use that as the S in the SOAP framework, story or situation. So today we've talked about 4 different ways of looking at our story, looking at our situation. There's a couple things we want to remember as we're doing it. Today, our tool that we're going to use on the 13th for physical, we use the who, what, where, when, why, and how journalistic framework to identify our current story versus our desired story. On the day 39 for emotional, we shared the 5 steps to identify your story, your particular personal story. On day 73, when we were talking about our mental well-being, we used the imaginary friend tool. And on day 96, we used, I can't see my notes. I had to go back and look actually. Meditation and spiritual breath and future pacing in order to look at what's our current story and what do we want it to be. We used a couple of different tools. Now today we're going to talk about storyboarding. And I just grabbed one of my previous challenges on financial and we did storyboarding for that. And in this one, we had storm damage last year. And in October, we were getting estimates and things as to what it was going to cost to fix the storm damage. We had to remove trees. I think we lost 6 trees in the yard. And then we have to put on a new front porch, which isn't on yet because winter came early last year and we haven't been able to get the contractors out. Everybody seems so busy since COVID's now over. Everybody's too busy to get any contracting work done. So we have been without a front porch for, since last summer. I don't remember if it was May or June that we had the storm, but it's been a really, really long time. So that was my storyboard for that. So I don't really have a great graphic of a storyboard. Prior to that, I'd done just like an outline storyboard, which isn't quite as fun to do as the pictorial storyboard. So today we're going to look at what is our current situation. Yesterday we decided what we were going to work on in terms of a financial area that we wanted to address using the SOAP framework. So I picked, my nephew is getting married after a long dramatic, he's not that old, he's in his 30s, romantic situations. He found and met a wonderful girl. She's got 2 kids, he's got 2 kids, and they're getting married November 11th. And so we want to do a family trip because all of the family has never been down to Texas at the same time. So we're going to have like a big family reunion family trip. Now, in order to do this family trip, I want to take my whole family, and that's going to cost, I just rough estimated $6,000. Well, instead of taking $6,000 out of savings or something, my strategy is always if I want to do something, I have to do something to find the money or create the money or get the money to pay for that thing before I actually do it, right? So my current story will be, I'm starting from 0 for the wedding trip to Texas, and I want to have at least $6,000 or more for that family trip to Texas. So I'm going to use the SOAP framework to determine how can I make that happen. My challenge is I need $6,000 to $10,000, let's say $6,000 to $10,000. $10,000 is a really fun, fancy trip, but let's say $6,000 to $10,000 for all of us to fly, all of us to stay, all of us to eat out, all of us to have some entertainment and fun, although the wedding will be entertainment and fun, and it's going to be at this beautiful resort. So all in all, it'll be a blast. But I want to make sure that we all can go, including my granddaughter who lives with her mom. So that's going to be the biggest emotional and mental challenge is to get her to be able to come along, because I think they're still in school. November 11th, I think that it's too far from Thanksgiving, so it's going to have to be convincing her parents to let us take her out of school. So that is what I'm going to storyboard today. Now, we create a storyboard by thinking about where we are now. What are the key points and the key things and the key most important factors in our current story? Are we being honest with ourselves, and are we telling ourselves exactly what the current situation, the current story is? Sometimes it's easy for me and many other people to put blinders on and pretend something is either better or worse than it is. Sometimes we make things worse than they are so that we can make more excuses and not take action, and we can just wait and see what'll happen and procrastinate. Other times we tell ourselves the exact opposite, to do the same thing for the same reason, the same why, the same motivation, so we don't have to make a choice, a decision, or stay stuck. I did that in my marriage, which we'll probably talk about next month as part of relationships. So sometimes it's the devil you know is better than making a change or doing something different. But we're not going to do that this month, especially with respect to our finances. We're going to be honest with respect to exactly where we are, exactly where we want to be, and then that creates the gap. The whole purpose of step 1 of the process of the SOAP framework, the S, the story, the situation, is to identify that gap, because the rest of the framework fills in the gap. It helps us go from where we are to where we want to be, and then we can set it up so that that becomes automatic. So it's not a big, hard thing to do. We just do a little bit at a time. I could do one thing to make $6,000 or more and to pay for that trip. Or maybe I break it down into smaller pieces, and that's how I go about making that happen. I don't know yet. We haven't gotten to how we're going to do that yet. We just have to identify what that gap is. So today, have fun storyboarding. Here's my great artistic talent. So if you think you can't draw or can't make pictures, and usually I just have highlights of the key factors that I want to consider. And then sometimes it's just fun. I can just write it out in words, or I like to draw pictures because I am so artistically inclined and talented. As you can see, it's fun for me. We have to be able to laugh at ourselves, right, in order to face our challenges and solve our problems. So if I can help you with this in any way, I think maybe I'll look up some information and find some examples, some better graphics of storyboarding to share. But for right now, good enough, right? What are the high points? What are the key things or key factors to consider? Draw a little symbol that symbolizes them for you, because our brains like to think in pictures first and then words. A lot of times I will sketch the pictures first, just little pictures, or I'll go out. If you really want to get awesome at this for your future, go out and find pictures of things that represent what you want, that make you feel good, and you can make them part of your vision board if you have a vision board. I haven't had a vision board for several years now. Did them for years, did them with my kids when they were younger, which was really fun. And then I just kind of fell away from the habit of doing them, because my last vision board was like a notebook this thick of all the things I wanted. And I go through it once in a while, but I don't that much anymore, because I got a lot of the stuff that's in it already. That's the cool thing about envisioning and future pacing and planning for your future. If you have a picture of it in your mind, you'll think about it more often, and you move toward that automatically. You'll find things and do things and take steps to move you toward what you want, which is kind of the purpose of this whole challenge. We decide the type person we want to be in each of the life framework areas and aspects of our life, and then we do things to move us toward that pretty much automatically, little things every day. All right, hit me up if you have questions. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow, and we will hop into the O of the SOAP framework, which helps us to start filling the gap that we created in our minds today. All right, have a great day.